Okay, so we have three types of projectile here. So first is when the angle is 0, which we call it as horizontal projectile. Okay, so basically ni adalah gambar aja dia lah, di mana it's not exactly like this, but usually kita akan ada satu objek yang akan travel at 0 angle. Selalunya maksudnya dia adalah dekat pergerakan dia macam ni lah, ke bawah. Okay, daripada any point. Okay, can be from a building, from a higher place, usually from a higher place lah. Okay, so dekat sini basically angle dia adalah kosong. So apabila angle kosong, kita boleh kira dia punya either velocity ataupun displacement. So dua benda yang kita akan kira dekat projectile motion. Velocity, displacement, ataupun another one is the time. So nanti Miss akan tunjuk the example. So dia akan terbahagi kepada dua komponen, X component and Y component. So again kita akan resolve benda ni dekat dua komponen X and Y. Okay, the next one is when the angle is 90 degree, or we call it as vertical projectile ataupun free fall. Okay, so macam mana benda ni berlaku? Okay, usually when we have an object, okay, objek ni dia shoot straight up. Dia straight 90 degree and then lepas tu dia akan jatuh semula. That's what we call it as free fall. Okay, dia mesti 90 degree. Dia tidak boleh 85, dia mesti ngam-ngam 90 degree. So apabila kita ada free fall, we only have one component only, which is Y component. Okay, automatic X component kita tidak akan guna dekat dalam free fall. And then the next one is angle less than 90 degree. Okay, an angle less than 90 degree. Okay, which means kita akan, objek ni akan bergerak at a certain angle. Dia akan travel at a certain angle. Okay, usually maybe dekat point ni. Okay, dekat point ni objek ni akan, selalunya kalau kita tendang bola, contohlah, tendang bola and then dia akan ke atas and then jatuh semula kan. So angle dia tu mesti less than 90 degree. So apabila ada angle dekat sini, kita akan resolve kepada dua komponen X and Y component. And then to find the X component, ini sama macam chapter 1, resolving vector. So apabila dekat X component, it will be equal to U cos theta, Y component, U sin theta. So U dekat sini adalah the initial velocity. And then if we want to find the angle, okay, let's say we are not given the angle. So if we want to find the angle, sama juga macam resolving vector. So Uy divided by Ux. So this one, it's important for you to know the category. Sebab bila kita dapat soalan nanti, kamu kena tengok, pastikanlah identify which category is this. Okay, adakah dia horizontal, adakah vertical ataupun just projectile at a certain angle. Okay, so untuk 2.3, we are still using the kinematics equation. So these three kinematics equation, if you watch my video, I have mentioned in my video that, okay, this formula is not given in the exam. It's not given in the list of formula. Maksudnya kamu kena hafal formula ni. Okay, tiga formula yang penting ni. Tiga formula penting ni kita akan guna even dekat chapter 3, chapter 4, okay, anything yang, any question yang melibatkan kinematics, which basically kita akan gunakan banyak kali nanti sebenarnya. So kamu kena hafal ketiga-tiga equation ni. Okay, kamu tulislah dekat sticky note and then tampal dekat dinding, dekat meja belajar kamu, so that kamu sentiasa, cepatlah kamu akan rujuk nanti. Okay, so kinematics equation kita akan gunakan juga dekat 2.3, tetapi akan ada a bit difference lah dekat sini. So untuk kinematics yang this one is for linear motion. Untuk straight line, pergi depan, pergi belakang. Macam tu. Ni adalah kita gunakan this equation. Tetapi untuk projectile, because projectile ni dia pergi atas kan, pergi atas and then pergi bawah. So there is a bit difference here, which is we are going to use this equation instead. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we have horizontal and vertical. Sebab projectile ni dia, it happen in the same time. Horizontal and vertical displacement. Benda ni berlaku dalam masa yang sama. Di mana dekat horizontal, as I mentioned, it is a constant velocity, which means the acceleration always equal to 0. Okay, sebab acceleration, okay, dekat horizontal, which is patutnya pergi kanan kan, pergi kanan ataupun pergi kiri. So, we don't have acceleration here. And then to vertical, we have acceleration under constant gravitational acceleration, which is the value for gravity is 9.81 meter per second squared. Okay, tetapi dalam case projectile, kita kena letak negatif. Kenapa negatif? Why do we put negative here? The acceleration.
Going downward.
Yes, because it is going downward. Okay, acceleration kita going downward. Semua benda ni, this one is going downward, this one dia naik atas and then dia turun semula going downward. Ni pun sama. So that's why gravity dekat sini, okay, gravity ni asalnya memang positif lah. Acceleration yang negatif. That's why acceleration kita adalah negative 9.81 meter per second squared. Okay, so this one, okay, dalam nota kamu, it's a bit, let me see. Okay, it's a bit complicated. So kamu salin yang this one lah, lebih simple untuk kamu ingat. Okay, so the original equation tadi yang this one, yang Miss tunjuk ni, which is the kinematics. So apabila kita ubah, dia akan jadi macam ni. So acceleration, kita just ingat untuk horizontal kosong, untuk vertical negative g. Okay, now velocity. Okay, since this is the original equation, right? So this is the original equation. So since original dia adalah v is equal to u plus at. Okay, since a ni sama dengan kosong untuk horizontal, so maksudnya this one kita sudah cancel. So dia kosong kan? So that's why, okay, the equation is like this now. Dia akan jadi v is equal to u. Okay, tetapi kita letak x untuk menunjukkan itu adalah untuk x component. Okay, boleh faham sebab a sudah kosong, so kita sudah cancel this one. That's why equation kita is now v is equal to u. Okay, sama juga untuk displacement. Untuk cari s, this is the original equation. So since s sudah jadi kosong, now we left with s is equal to ut. So we always put the subscript here. Okay, untuk label ni adalah untuk x component. Okay, untuk vertical pula, since a dekat sini adalah negative g, so semua a dekat dalam equation kita akan ubah kepada negative g. Okay, kalau ada soalan terus tanya. Okay, so dekat sini, the original equation is this one, v is equal to u plus at. So apabila kita ubah, okay, a ni kita akan ubah kepada negative g. That's why dekat sini kita akan letak negative. So bila kamu substitute value untuk g, is just 9.81. Okay, tidak perlu lagi letak negative because g ni memang positif. Okay, so this one pun sama juga, kita hanya ubah ubah kepada negative g. Sama juga untuk displacement, kita ubah kepada negative g. Okay, so this one kamu kena salin lah ataupun hafal lah. It's impossible to hafal for now. So salin dahulu so that anytime you want to do the problem solving, you can refer to this table here, which is actually we have it in your notes. Okay, any questions so far? No question?
Tiada question.
Okay. Okay, so let me continue to the next one. Okay, next one is specific for the projectile at certain angle. Okay, this one yang a bit complicated lah. Yang dua dekat depan tu, which is for this one, horizontal and free fall, it's easy because untuk horizontal we don't have angle. Untuk vertical pula kita hanya ada satu komponen, which is y component. Okay, so apa maksud y component only? Maksudnya kita hanya tengok this formula only kalau untuk free fall. So this one we are not going to use this formula untuk free fall sahaja. Itu maksud Miss dekat Y component and X component. Okay, so untuk this one is for the projectile at a certain angle. Okay, so initial point kita adalah dekat sini, dekat point A. Di mana, okay, sebagai contoh kita akan, contohlah tendang bola. So objek kita dekat sini adalah bola. So apabila kita tendang bola, okay, dia akan naik ke atas and then turun semula. So dia akan turun semula tu dekat point C. Okay, dekat point C sini, which is sama level dengan point A. So sama level dengan point A. So daripada point A ke point C, kita panggil dia sebagai horizontal displacement, which is this one, SX, horizontal displacement. So the point from point A to point C is horizontal displacement. Okay, so apabila bola ni ditendang, dia akan ditendang at certain velocity. Okay, dia tidak akan ditendang dengan velocity yang kosong lah. Kalau dekat sini, sebab dia memang, kita sudah tendang tu dengan satu kelajuan. Okay, ada certain velocity. So let's say the velocity here is 50 meter per second. Okay, at 50 meter per second, and then we, okay, kamu tendang bola ni at a certain angle, maybe 45 degree. Okay, and then bola ni dia akan naik and then reach one point. Point dekat atas ni, which is point B, kita panggil dia sebagai maximum height. Maksudnya inilah yang paling tinggi dia boleh naik. After that dia akan jatuh semula. So dekat maximum height, okay, dekat maximum height, angle akan jadi kosong. Okay, sebab dia dekat sini kan. So angle akan jadi kosong, so bermaksud apabila angle kosong, sebab okay, initially we have U is equal to, Ux is equal to U cos theta, Uy is equal to U sin theta. So apabila angle kosong dekat sini, at this point, okay, so sin 0 is equal to 0. So untuk Y component, untuk vertical component dekat sini always equal to 0. And then cos kosong adalah sama dengan 1. So Vx, velocity dekat maximum height akan sama dengan velocity dekat initial, which is dekat X component. Dia mesti X component. Vx is equal to Ux. Okay, so just always remember dekat maximum height, vertical velocity is equal to 0 and direction kita always to the right because angle is equal to 0. Okay, so dekat maximum height ni kita panggil dia sebagai vertical displacement ataupun SY. Ataupun bila maximum height kita boleh gunakan value untuk h juga. Okay, simbol h. And then selepas dia jatuh ke bawah, and then dekat point sini, dekat balik kepada origin lah, balik kepada level yang sama di mana bola tu ditendang. Okay, balik kepada origin. Okay, and then bila dekat ni, angle dia dekat sini, okay, dia akan ada certain angle. Dia akan ada, bila dia akan jatuh dengan satu velocity yang berbeza dengan initial velocity. Okay. So apabila ada satu velocity dekat sini, bermaksud kita kena resolve into two component as well, which is X component and Y component. Dan Y component dekat sini always negative. Okay, sebab dia jatuh ke bawah and velocity is a vector component, so we need to include the direction. Okay, so now as I explain we have A, B, and C. Okay, kalau contohnya we want to calculate the velocity at this point. Contohlah dekat point ni, point number 1 here. Okay, contoh kita mau cari point dekat number 1. Okay, the velocity will be the same. Dia akan sama dengan komponen dekat sini. It's still the same. Okay, benda yang sama, velocity still sama, which is 50 meter per second. And then the angle also will be the same. Okay, sama juga dekat sini. So apabila dekat bawah, Vy juga adalah negatif. Okay, this one kita akan tengoklah supaya kamu lebih faham. Kita akan tengok example. Okay, so dalam nota kamu ada satu table yang kamu perlu isi kan. Okay, basically table tu, kamu tidak perlu isi pun tidak apa. Okay, kalau kamu faham apa yang Miss explain ni, then kamu boleh isi lah. But then sebenarnya table tu is a bit confusing. Kalau kamu sudah isi pun nanti kamu akan confuse. Kamu just ingat this diagram only. Okay, just ingat this diagram dekat point A, B and C. Usually kita akan tengok point A, B and C lah. Dekat maximum height, angle kosong, so VY pun akan kosong. Okay, so any questions so far? No question?
Tak ada ni.
No, miss.
Okay, sekejap. Okay, so kita tengok example lah. Example yang first, which is example 11. Okay, so this is example 11. Okay, so an object is released from rest at height 20 meter from a building hedge. Determine the time and velocity when it reaches the ground. Okay, so first of all, we need to identify what type of projectile is this. Adakah dia free fall, ataupun horizontal, ataupun projectile angle. Which one? Kalau kamu baca example 11.
Free fall.
Horizon. Free fall.
Free fall.
Yeah.
Are you sure
Horizontal.
free fall?
Horizontal.
Yes.
No, it's not free fall. Macam mana free fall?
Vertical, miss.
Ya,
Horizontal.
this one adalah horizontal sebab vertical dia kena daripada bawah dan kita dia akan shoot right up. Then barulah dia jatuh, tu adalah free fall. But this one, okay, kalau baca dekat sini, objek ni release daripada a certain height, which is 20 meter from a building. So let's say this is the building. Ini adalah building. So we have an object here. And then they release from rest. Okay, daripada rest bermaksud initial velocity dia adalah kosong. And then this building, the height of this building is 20 meter. And then this object is released from the 20 meter building. Okay? So ni adalah gambaran dia lah macam mana. So daripada sini kita boleh nampak dia sebenarnya adalah horizontal. Okay, so horizontal bermaksud angle is equal to 0 degree. Okay, so soalan minta dekat sini determine the time and velocity when it reaches the ground. So we want to find the time and then velocity. Okay, so first of all, we only have one information here, which is the value for initial velocity. U is equal to 0. Okay, what else? Ada lagi information yang lain? Okay, this information, we have 20 meter. So 20 meter ni value untuk apa?
Displacement.
Displacement. And then, since dia adalah vertical kan, vertical displacement, so it is SY. And then this one also UY, sebab dia ke bawah kan, velocity dia ke bawah. So, dia UY, so SY is equal to 20 meter. Okay, so displacement, remember, dia adalah vector component. So you need to include the positive, negative. So what is the direction here? Is it positive or negative for the displacement?
Negative.
Okay, it is negative. Okay, sebab bola ni jatuh daripada level dekat atas and then dia ke bawah. So displacement ni sebab dia jatuh ke bawah kan. So direction dia downward. So displacement always negative kalau daripada building yang tinggi. Kalau dia jatuh ke bawah. Okay, so these two are the information that we have. And then we want to find first is the time. Okay, so untuk time, kita hanya ada dua formula yang ada time, which is VU, this one VU negative GT, and also SUT minus half gt square. So which one we are going to use?
S equals to ut minus 1 over 2gt square.
Okay, thank you Evangeline. Okay, this is what we are going to use. Sebab kenapa kita gunakan this one? Because we have the information in displacement. So we are going to use this one. Untuk this one, kita tidak boleh guna sebab kenapa? We don't have the value for velocity. Okay, velocity which is final velocity we are not given. Actually, kita kena cari V tu. Okay, so now we are going to use this equation here. And then in terms of y component. So kamu kena letak y dekat sini. So Sy is equal to Uy minus half minus half gt square, and then what we want is to find the time. So yang lain boleh masukkan. Sy adalah negative 20, Uy is 0, and then negative half g adalah 9.81 t square. Then you will get the value for the time is equal to is it this one? Wait. Dapatkah value time? Where is my
Second.
calculator? What did you get, Hisham?
2 second.
3 second?
2. Iya kah?
Ngam-ngam 2?
2.02.
2.02 second. Yang lain dapat value yang sama?
Ya, sama.
Ya, sama.
So semua dapat value yang sama kan? Okay, so betul lah. We don't have the jawapan pula dekat sini. I didn't provide the answer here. Okay, but should be semua, kalau semua dapat 2.02, then betul lah tu. Okay, so next one. Okay, now that we have t, we can find the value for v, velocity. So we can either using this one ataupun the other one untuk v, which is v square is equal to u square minus 2gsy. So benda yang samalah, either one kamu boleh gunakan. So kita gunakan yang senang, which is vy is equal to uy minus gt. So since this one still sama kosong, so kamu boleh dapat negative 9.81. So t akan dapat masukkan 2.02. So vy is equal to
Negative 19.
Negative 19.82.
19.82.
82.
And then unit meter per second. Okay, so kamu mesti dapat negatif ah. You should be able to get negative because the direction of the object is going downward. So obviously velocity dia pun akan ke bawah. So direction dekat sini kena set downward. Okay, negative 19.82 meter per second, and then you set the direction which is downward. Okay, any questions so far? Kalau miss laju, please bagi tahu lah kalau laju sangat.
Tiada, Miss. Jelas.
Okay, boleh continue to the next example.
Yes.
Boleh.
Okay, so we look at the next example, example 12. Okay, a ball is thrown straight down from the roof of a dome at 10 meter per second. If the building is 100 meter tall, calculate the velocity when the ball hit the ground and how long will the trip take. Okay, so this one, which category?
Horizontal.
Horizontal.
It's still the same, which is horizontal. Because keyword dia dekat sini, it is thrown straight down and then it is from the building. Okay, so first of all, Okay, kamu kena list down the information given. So first we are given the initial velocity here, which is 10 meter per second, and then the vertical displacement, which is negative 100 meter. So dua information yang kita dibagi, sama juga macam example yang tadi. Cuma example yang tadi, initial velocity adalah kosong. But now we are given the initial velocity, which is 10 meter per second. Okay, 10 meter per second. So now we want to find the velocity. We want to find the velocity. So formula apa yang kita akan gunakan untuk cari velocity? Ada dua saja tu. Either V is equal to U negative GT or V square U square negative GS. Which one? Anyone?
The second one.
Apa dia? Azmi?
The second formula.
Second formula, which is which one?
Wait.
What is the second formula?
S equal to
S equal to, you want to put V, right?
V square
oh,
V square is equal to
square
U square
plus
minus
minus 2GS.
2GS, right? 2GS. Okay, so now, since we are given in terms of Y component, so kita boleh guna formula untuk Y component. Okay, so because we want to find V here, so you just masukkan UY. Okay, wait, before that I forgot to mention, okay, UY kat sini adalah negative ya. Because it is drawn straight down, so negative 10 meter per second. So when you substitute in the formula, it must be negative 10 square minus 2 G 9.81, and then SY pun mesti include the negative. So you will get the VY, the velocity, equal to, ada yang sudah dapat? Okay, don't forget we have square dekat sini ya. So kamu kena square rootkan kamu punya jawapan.
Empat lima
2062.
Berapa dia?
45.41.
4 something?
45.41.
45.41 meter per second. Is it positive or negative? Kamu dapat positif. Kamu dapat positif?
Positif.
Okay, semua dapat positif kah?
Ya.
Ya, Miss. Ya, Miss.
Okay, tapi if we see here, okay, memang dalam calculation kamu dapat positif. But if we see here, because dia adalah turn straight down, right? So dia adalah ke bawah. So obviously dia punya velocity adalah negative. So kamu kena letak dekat sini the direction which is downward. Okay, kamu kena tahu dia punya pergerakan tu macam mana. So apabila dia downward, automatic dia adalah negative. Okay, walaupun dalam calculation kamu tidak dapat negative, tetapi kamu kena tahu direction tu adalah downward. Sebab negative dekat sini just to see that the direction only. So kena letak negative dekat jawapan akhir. Okay, so next one we want to find how long will the trip take. Maksudnya the value for the time. So the whole journey semasa dia dari atas ni sampailah dia sampai ke bawah, what is the time taken? Ataupun time, usually we call it as time of flight. So dia punya term lah, time of flight. So we want to find the time here. Okay, so if you want to find the time, can either use V is equal to U minus GT, ataupun the other one, S is equal to UT minus half GT squared. So either one you should be able to get the same value. Mana-mana pun kamu boleh gunakan dan kamu akan dapat jawapan yang sama juga. So kita guna yang lagi senang dekat sini. V is equal to U minus GT. So V dekat sini adalah negatif. Kena include negatif 45.41 and then U adalah negatif 10 minus 9.81 T.
Tiga poin enam satu.
T is equal to
3.61.
berapa dia? So 3.61
61.
second. Actually kamu sepatutnya dapat negatif kan dekat sini. Kamu dapat negatif kan?
Bukan bahagi negatif kereta. Dia potong tu negatif.
Okay. So semua dapat 3.61.
Dapat.
Ya,
Any question? Panas pula. Okay, kalau tiada soalan, can I continue to the next one? Example 13.
Yes, miss.
Okay, so example 13. Okay, we have here a cannonball. A cannonball is shot straight up with an initial speed of 100 meter per second. How high does it go? Okay, so this one which category?
vertical.
Free fall.
Okay, vertical ataupun free fall.
Vertical.
So dia cakap dekat short straight up. Dia cakap dekat sini short straight up. So it is free fall ataupun vertical, benda yang sama. And then we are given here is the initial speed. The value for you 100 meter per second. And then soalan minta how high does it go? Maksudnya dekat sini high ni kan displacement in terms of vertical point. Sebab free fall kita hanya ada satu komponen saja. So obviously dekat sini we want to find is SY. So how do we find SY? Which formula?
The third formula.
The third formula. This one? You mean the V
Yes.
square is equal to U square plus A?
Yes, miss.
This one.
Yes, miss.
Sudah senang kita mau rujuk. Okay, so V is equal to U square plus. So V is equal to U square. So this one kamu kena ubah negative 2GS. And then V square. Okay, so now what is the value for V square here? V dekat sini.
0.
0.
Kenapa kosong? Why is it 0?
Dia tergantung kan.
Because
Dia
at
tidak
the maximum
velocity.
height, the velocity will be 0.
Okay, so at the maximum height, velocity will be 0. Sebab dia cakap sini, how high does it go? Maksudnya, apa maksimum ketinggian yang dia boleh pergi? So dekat maksimum ketinggian ni, velocity adalah kosong, as I mentioned earlier lah. So U square is 100 square minus 2G. Then you will get the value for S, which is equal to Dapat berapa?
509.68.
509.68 meter. Is it? Yang lain dapat yang sama?
Yeah, miss.
Dapat, Miss.
So this one senang kan? We just need to find the maximum height. So dekat maximum height, you just remember that V is equal to 0. Any questions so far?
No, Miss.
Okay, ni baru kamu punya mukadimah untuk soalan projectile. Soalan yang senang saja ni. So next one kita akan tengok soalan yang medium, which is a bit susah. Example 14. Okay, boleh kan continue?
Boleh, Miss.
Okay, so let's see the question here. Okay, a .32 caliber bullet fired from a revolver with a 3-inch long barrel will have a relatively low muzzle speed of about 200 meter per second. If it's shot straight up, susahnya membaca. If it's shot straight up, neglecting air resistance. Okay, first, what is the peak height of the bullet? And then how fast will it be moving when it returns to the height of the gun? And then last one, how long will the whole trip take, which is what is the time of flight? Okay, so first of all, okay, this one, which category?
Vertical.
Okay, it is vertical sebab dekat sini it is shot straight up. Okay, vertical projectile. Okay, so we only given one information, which is 200 meter per second. So this 200 meter per second is the initial velocity. Okay, satu saja information yang kita ada, 200 meter per second. Okay, so first question, what is the peak height of the bullet will reach? So peak height again, sama macam yang tadi, maximum height kan? Maximum height. So dekat maximum height, velocity adalah sama dengan 0. Okay, so now we want to find Sy. So guna yang tadi juga, the same formula, which is V square is equal to U square minus 2GS. So V sama dengan 0, 2 is 200 minus 2G, and then we want to find Sy. So what is the value for Sy?
2038.74.
2038.7 apa tadi?
4.
74. Okay, thank you Jason. 2038.74. Semua dapat jawapan yang sama?
Yes, miss.
Okay,
Dapat.
don't forget the square here. Selalunya kamu akan buat mistake lupa letak square dekat dalam calculator. Okay, so next one. Okay, how fast will it be moving? Which is we want to find what is the velocity when it returns to the height of the gun. Okay, apa maksud dia when it returns to the height of the gun? So, contohlah gun tu dekat sini kan? Dekat point ni, point A. So this is the gun. Okay, how do I? Okay, contohlah macam tu gun tu. Lepas tu dia shot straight up the bullet. And then, lepas tu dia sampai dekat satu point ni di mana kita letak dia sebagai H lah, maximum point. And then lepas tu dia akan jatuh semula ke bawah. Which is dia akan jatuh semula ke bawah ke point B. Di mana point B ni adalah sama level dengan the gun. Which is, inilah maksud dia when it returns to the height of the gun. Dia jatuh semula kepada origin. We call it as origin. Tempat asal dia. Okay, so apabila dia return semula dekat origin, here, information yang kita tahu dekat sini adalah the value for Sy. So value of Sy here is no longer, okay, is no longer this value yang kita kira tadi. Dia bukan sudah 2038.74. Kenapa? Why do you think so?
Dia return to the origin.
Okay, Sebab dia return to the origin. Okay, so from here to here, kita tahu dia adalah positive 238. And then dia jatuh semula, dia akan jadi negative 238.74. So basically dia cancel each other. Sebab displacement ni kita kena include positive dan negative. That's why bila return to the origin, SY adalah sama dengan kosong. Okay, so basically we are still using the same formula. Vy square is equal to uy square minus 2gsy. Tetapi dekat sini sy adalah kosong. So Vy, because we want to find velocity, right, is actually equal to Uy. Uy kita tadi berapa? 200. 200 square, so basically Vy is equal to 200 meter per second. Okay, boleh? So basically dia punya speed ni adalah sama daripada initial dan final. Any question? Semua boleh?
Boleh, Miss.
Boleh,
Okay.
Miss.
I forgot to mention. Because dia pergi bawah kan, now it's going downwards. So V is going downwards. Here is downwards. Okay, always state the direction. Untuk velocity, kamu kena state direction dia adakah downwards or upwards. Okay, next one. How long will the whole trip take? Ataupun we want to find what is the time of flight. Value 40. Okay, so whole trip ni adalah bermaksud daripada point A dia turun semula ke point B. So this whole journey, what is the time? So which formula we are going to use?
V equals to U minus GT.
V is equal to U minus GT, and then we want to find T here. Okay, so V dekat sini what value? 200, right? Okay, because it is downwards, so you need to include the negative, and then U adalah positive, minus 9.81 T. So you will get the value for T.
40.77.
40.77 second.
Yeah.
Semua dapat?
Dapat, Miss.
Dapat kan? Any questions so far? Yang lain boleh ke tu?
Miss, yang dalam
Ya.
soalan B tu mau kasih negatif ke?
Ya,
Dia punya
sebab dia downwards kan? So always kalau kita letak direction, so maksudnya dia adalah negatif. So letaklah negatif. So bila dalam substitution, kamu kena include this negative. Okay, boleh?
Boleh, Miss.
Okay, boleh. The next one, right? Kita continue example 15. Okay, example 15 here. Okay, a ball is thrown from the top of a building, is given an initial velocity of 10 meters per second, straight upward. The building is 30 meters high and the ball just misses the edge of the roof on its way down, as shown in figure below. Okay, so now we have here, we have a ball at point A, which is on the top of a building, and then it is thrown straight up. Dia kena baling ke atas, dan lepas tu barulah dia jatuh ke bawah. Okay, so this one is actually a mix of projectile and free fall and horizontal actually. So we cannot really specify lah this one adalah untuk free fall ke ataupun just horizontal. Okay, kenapa? Nanti kita tengoklah dekat sini. Okay, so basically we are given two information. We are given the initial value untuk U, 10 meter per second, and then the height of the building here, which is SY, negative 30 meter. Okay, now, soalan pertama, soalan minta calculate the maximum height of the stone from point A. Okay, kita mau cari maximum height daripada point A. Daripada point A, which is maximum height dia dekat sini adalah point B. So we want to find this value. Okay, how to find this value? So we have U, we have SY. Okay, SY we are not going to use sebab now kita punya situation hanyalah daripada point A ke point B sahaja. So it's not involving this value of SY. So again, sebab dia cakap maximum height. Ya Azmi?
No, Miss. Continue.
Tidak. Okay, again dia cakap maximum height. So dekat maximum height, V adalah sama dengan kosong. So kalau V sama dengan kosong, we can find using, again the same formula, V is equal to V square. Is equal to U square minus
2GS.
S. Okay, so V adalah kosong, U adalah 10, negative 2, 9.81, SY. So SY sama dengan, which is also the maximum height,
Five point
5.9
point one
0.1 meter. 5.1 meter. So maximum height daripada point A ke point B adalah 5.1 meter. Semua dapat 5.1 meter.
Tepat, Miss.
Dapat, Miss.
Okay. Kalau ada soalan memang terus tanya. Miss tidak perlu mau tanyalah kamu ada soalan ke tidak. Kamu boleh
Miss
terus
bagi
menjawab.
answer tu perlu beberapa significant figure.
Actually, dia mesti at least 2 decimal places here. So berapa? Kamu dapat 5.1. Ada
Satu
satu,
kosong.
ada another value.
5.096.
0.96. 5.096.
Ya.
Actually, okay, I forgot to mention. Actually, you need to leave the final answer in at least 2 decimal places. So kalau lebih, kalau 3 pun boleh, 4 pun boleh. Okay, lebih daripada tu, tak perlulah over sangat kan, panjang-panjang. So at least 2 decimal places. Okay. So kalau satu sebenarnya kamu punya soalan tu, jawapan tu diterima, but it's not accurate. So always leave it as 2 decimal places at least. Okay, to be safe. Because this value actually we are going to use in the next formula. Sebab soalan macam ni adalah guided question di mana value dekat soalan S usually kita akan guna dekat B ataupun C macam itulah. Sebab tu value tu kita kena always leave it at least 2 decimal point. Okay. So next one is calculate the time taken from point A to point C. So from point A here all the way to point C. We want to find what is the value for T. So how to find this value for T? Which formula? Is it V is equal to U minus GT? Can we use this formula?
I think no.
Boleh, boleh.
No. So we're left with the other formula, which is ada satu lagi formula yang menggunakan value T. It's S is equal to UT minus half GT square, right? This
Yeah.
one. UT, okay. Okay, so this one we can use to find the value for T here. Okay, so now kita ada value untuk U. We are given which is 10 meter per second. And then what is the value for S here?
0.
Zero.
Okay, 0. Sebab daripada sini ke sini positif 5.096 and then dia kembali level yang sama dengan initial, which is dia kembali kepada origin. So kalau dia kembali kepada origin, can remember the value for the displacement dia sudah cancel out, akan jadi sama dengan kosong. So 0 is equal to U adalah 10 T minus half 9.81 T square. So kamu akan dapat value for T. Ada yang sudah dapat value for T?
Two points 0
2.04 second. Kamu dapat satu jawapan saja ke? Memang dapat satu ke? Or did you get another answer? Because it's quadratic equation, right? You should be able to get only one, right?
Uh,
X square.
yeah, only one answer.
Okay, only one answer. Okay.
Boleh juga Miss guna formula pertama tadi. Sama juga.
Sama juga. Apa maksud kamu,
Ya.
sorry? Apa dia, Azmi?
Guna formula yang V sama dengan U tolak GT tu boleh juga.
Okay, yes. You should be able to get that one juga. Boleh tak? So V kamu letak what value?
Negative 10.
Negative 10, okay. Because kita assume dia punya velocity ni adalah sama. Which is sama macam soalan yang tadi ni lah. Okay, so kalau kamu gunakan the other formula, V is equal to U minus GT, you should be able to get the same value. Okay, mungkin kamu boleh cubalah kalau contohnya you're not sure with your answer. So you can double check your answer using another equation. Okay, so next one. Okay, we want to find the time taken from point A to D. From point A to D. So initial point kita adalah A, final point kita adalah D dekat sini. Okay, now we want to find T, but now dia letak point yang berbeza. Final point kita bukan sudah C, now it is D. Okay, so again, we're still using the same formula, which is S is equal to UT minus half GT square. Okay, apa yang berbeza dekat sini adalah value untuk S. So now what is the value for S here?
Negative 30.
It will be negative 30. Okay, sebab sekarang ni S ni adalah displacement, right? It is the shortest distance. So shortest distance adalah daripada point A straight to point D. Tidak perlu lagi naik atas. Okay, lepas turun bawah semula. Itu adalah kita panggil sebagai distance. But now it is displacement. Displacement adalah shortest distance daripada A straight to point D. That's why kita gunakan this one. Okay, tetapi by concept kamu tahulah. Okay, kalau dia kalau by concept displacement tu dia naik ke atas, turun balik ke bawah, still dapat 30. Tetapi kalau distance, dia tidak akan dapat 30 sebab distance kita ignore the negative value. Okay, so always remember S adalah displacement. Okay, so just masukkan S UT minus half GT square. So you put negative 30. U adalah 10 minus half GT square. So you will get T is equal to dapat berapa?
3.69
69 second.
and
And
negative 1.65.
negative 1.65 second. Okay, so you will get two answer here. So obviously kalau negative, kamu dapat negative, it is invalid. Okay, negative, we cannot have time as negative. So this one is invalid. So satu saja jawapan, which is T is equal to 3.69 second. Okay, so kalau dalam jawapan kamu tidak tulis this one kan? it's okay. It doesn't matter lah. Kamu terus letak T is equal to 3.69 second pun boleh. Sebab dalam untuk fizik, okay, apa yang penting dekat sini adalah first, tulis formula. Okay, and then substitute mesti betul lah. And then final answer. Maka dibagi dekat sini. So jalan kerja, kalau contohnya kamu expand lagi benda ni, okay, memang tidak markah lah dekat situ. Kalau kamu tidak tulis pun tidak apa. Tapi to be safe, kamu always tulis lah so that kamu boleh avoid making mistakes. Okay, so remember always yang paling penting, formula, substitution, and then final answer. 3 benda ni yang mesti ada kalau dalam physics. Okay, dia berbeza, dia tidak sama dengan dalam maths. Maths kamu kena tunjuk langkah kerja tu satu persatu. Okay, any questions so far?
Tiada, Miss.
Ada, yang lain okay kan? Okay,
Miss,
so
kenapa dia punya U
kenapa?
tu positif?
Kenapa U positif? Oh yeah, it should be negative actually. Wait. Oh, U memang positif sebab the initial dia ke atas kan. Dia memang initially dia memang short straight upwards. Direction dia memang ke atas. So U memang positif.
Jadi dia punya sasaran tu sepatutnya kita tambah dengan H. Oh no.
Apa dia? Sorry.
Dia punya
Ada yang
displacement tu.
Displacement memang negatif. Tetapi initial, okay, daripada mana dia dilepaskan. Ni adalah, what is it again? This one is ball. Ball ni memang dia naik ke atas. So bila naik ke atas, dia punya direction adalah upwards. So upward positif. Walaupun kita tahu tadi, macam yang Miss cakap tadi, dia sebenarnya bila kita mau cari displacement, shortest distance right from here to here. Actually bola tu dia still pergerakan dia adalah daripada atas dan all the way going down. Dia bukan terus daripada sini ke sini. No. Boleh faham kan ni? So situation yang dia bagi memang dia bagi tahu dia short straight up. Okay,
Miss.
boleh Azmi? Okay.
Boleh Miss.
Okay. Okay, so last one. Okay, we want to find the velocity of the stone. Kenapa lah tiba-tiba stone? Tadi dia cakap ball. Okay, basically it's a ball. The velocity of the ball when it reaches point D. So we want to find the velocity bila dekat sini. Maksudnya V ke bawah lah. This is the velocity. Okay, so velocity dia tidak akan sama lah dengan initial. Kalau yang tadi velocity daripada sini ke sini still sama. 10 meter per second. Tetapi bila as it going downwards, okay, velocity dia akan berubah. So velocity tu akan sama apabila dia kembali ke origin sahaja. Tetapi kalau dia bukan kembali ke origin, okay, now that we have under influence of gravity, so dia sudah berbeza velocity dia. So now we want to find that velocity, which is Vy. And then which formula we are going to use?
V equals to U minus GT.
V is equal to U minus GT. And then the value T here is which one? Adakah this one or this one? What is the value for T yang kita akan guna?
3.69.
3.69.
69. Okay, remember 3.69 because dia minta point D. So T yang kita kira yang dekat sini adalah from here to point D. But for this one, T dia adalah dari A ke C sahaja. So you need to be careful with that. So just masukkan V adalah sama dengan U is 10 minus 9.81 3.69. So you get
Negative 26.20.
negative 26.2
0.
20 meter per second. So negative here meaning that downward. Okay, always state the direction. Sebab dia minta velocity. Okay, so you need to state the direction. So direction ni bila kamu state, kamu akan dapat satu markah dekat sini. If you didn't state the direction, kamu just letak negatif. Okay, usually it depends lah. Kalau dekat dalam exam ada certain dia akan terima lah kalau letak negatif tapi tidak letak downward. Tapi to be safe, you always state what the direction. Is it upward or downward? Okay. Boleh untuk soalan example 15.
Boleh ni.
Boleh
Any
Miss.
question yang lain?
Boleh Miss. Boleh Miss.
Senang ke susah? Kamu tidak akan tahu lah dia senang ke susah selagi kamu tidak cuba on your own kan? Nampak Miss buat, nampaklah senang. Selalu macam tu. Okay. Kita continue lagi. Kita still ada 20 minutes. Continue example 15. 16. Okay, example 16 here. So we are given a figure here. We have a plane traveling at a constant velocity of 50 meter per second at an altitude of 300 meter, releases a parcel when directly above a point X on level ground. So we are given here the plane with initial velocity 50 meter per second. And then we are given the value for the displacement here, which is SY, 300 meter. Okay, first of all, calculate the time, the flight time of the parcel, which means, okay, apabila dia release ni, dia akan jatuh ke point ni. So we want to find how long does it take for the parcel to reach the ground. So we want to find T. And then we are given here U is negative, 50, bukan negative, positive 50 meter per second, and then SY, obviously dia adalah ke bawah, so ni adalah horizontal, negative 300 meter. Okay, so we want to find T. How do we find T? Okay, so formula yang kita boleh gunakan since kita ada SY kan. SY is equal to UY T minus half GT square. So UY is equal to SY is equal to UY T minus half GT square. Okay, so here, wait. Okay, so this one adalah horizontal kan? Okay, bila horizontal, kita ada X component and Y component. So X component dekat sini adalah sama dengan U. Sebab kosong kan dia punya sini.
Ya Miss.
Data right. So cos kosong adalah 1, so dia akan sama dengan 50 meter per second. And then U, Y component dekat sini adalah sama dengan kosong. So U dekat sini adalah the magnitude. So you need to find UX and UY. So UY obviously dia adalah kosong. So dekat sini UY sama dengan kosong ya. So UY kosong, SY negative 300, negative 1 over 2 G T square. So you will get the value for T.
$7.82.
7.82
2.
second. Okay, so remember here, U yang dia bagi adalah magnitude. So you need to always resolve into X and Y component. Which means kalau dekat sini obviously dia adalah horizontal. So cos angle adalah kosong. So UY adalah kosong. So jangan masukkan pula UY dekat sini. You assume it is 50 meter per second. Okay? Boleh kan?
Boleh Miss.
Boleh, Miss.
Okay, so next question. Calculate the velocity of impact of the parcel. Okay, so parcel ni apabila dia sampai dekat tahap ni, dekat point ni, so dia akan ada impact lah. So maksudnya velocity tu dia ke bawah macam ni. Dia akan going downwards here. meaning that we have Vx and also Vy. So because we want to find the velocity, which is value for V, so in order to find the value for V, we need to find Vx and Vy first. Okay, so soalan B, we want to find V. So we need to find Vx and also Vy. Okay, so how to find Vx and Vy kat sini? Okay, so kalau rujuk semula dekat this one here. Okay, so kalau rujuk dekat sini, Vx adalah sama dengan Ux. Dan Vy pula kat sini adalah sama dengan Uy minus GT. Okay, kamu kena ingat lah. Vx sama dengan Ux, Vy sama dengan this one. So, Vx is equal to Ux, which is equal to, what is the value for Ux tadi?
50.
50.
T. So Vy is equal to Uy minus GT. And we know that Uy adalah sama dengan kosong. So Vy is equal to negative 9.81 times with T. And then T dekat sini adalah time of flight, which is 7.82 second. So Vy kamu akan dapat
Negative 76.71.
76.71 meter per second. Here, meter per second. So we have this Vx and Vy. Now we can find the value for V, the magnitude for V. So magnitude again, kita akan gunakan Vx square plus Vy square. And then just masukkan Vx is 50. Vy is negative 76.71 square. And then V is equal to
91.57.
91.57 meter per second. Okay. Do we need to find the angle?
Yes.
Okay, we need to find the angle lah sebab dia minta velocity. So velocity, we need to find the magnitude and direction. So direction sekarang ni adalah in terms of angle. So you need to find the angle. Tangent theta is equal to Vy divided by Vx, which is negative 76.71 divided by 50. Okay, remember dekat sini this modulus, maksudnya kita just, dia akan cancel out the negative value. So dalam calculation, you don't need to calculate, put the negative. So kamu akan dapat, kamu akan ignore lah this negative. So angle will be equal to
56.9.
56.9 degree. Okay, so now angle kita dekat sini. Here, this is the angle, 56.9 degrees. So which position is this? Is it below or above?
Below the x-axis.
Okay, below the positive x-axis. So mesti include lah positive x-axis. Sebab ni ke kanan kan x-axisnya. So positive, yeah, below positive x-axis. Okay, do we have another question? Okay, we have actually another one. So far boleh kan yang ni? Cepat sangat kan?
Miss,
Boleh,
kenapa,
Miss.
kenapa dia below kita?
Kenapa dia below positive x-axis? Okay. So, that's why kamu kena lukis tau benda ni. Apabila dia jatuhkan parcel ni. Okay, apabila parcel ni jatuh, obviously velocity dia ke bawah. And then bila kita velocity ke bawah, kita kena resolve x and y component. So angle tu always refer kepada x component. Mesti angle tu dekat sini. So kalau dia jatuh macam ni kan, kalau dia jatuh dekat sini, contohlah dia macam ni. So kalau dia jatuh macam ni, so v tu macam ni. So kita akan ada vx and then vy. So kalau dekat part ni, obviously dia adalah negative. negative x-axis sebab dia ke kiri. But this one part here, dia positive x-axis sebab dia ke kanan.
Yeah, okay. Faham.
Yes. That's why kita letak angle tu below positive x-axis. So kalau kita punya projectile tu macam ni lah. Angle tu dekat sini. So dekat sini kita cakap lah below negative x-axis. Macam tu. So always include the positive and negative. Okay, boleh?
Boleh Miss.
Okay, ada soalan lagi? Okay, kita tengok last one. Soalan C. Okay, calculate the distance from X to the point of impact. So distance from X to the point of impact, which is here. So ni adalah actually displacement, vertical displacement. So dia daripada point X ni adalah level dia kan, dia punya origin, and then to here. So we want to find horizontal. Did I say vertical just now? Actually horizontal displacement. Okay, Sx horizontal displacement. So rujuk semula formula. Mana sudah formula tadi tu? Okay, kalau Sx horizontal displacement is equal to Uxt. Okay, Uxt. Sx is equal to Uxt. Ux kita sama dengan berapa? What value is it? 50. And then value for t, the time is this one, right? 7.82 seconds. Okay, because this is the time of flight from this point to this point. So kamu akan dapat the horizontal displacement equal to
391 meter.
391 pada point.
Ada.
Memang ngam dapat.
Ya, Miss.
Okay, 391 meter. Thank you, Azmi. Semua dapat?
Dapat Miss.
Dapat Miss.
Dapat
Ya.
Miss.
Siapa yang ada soalan? Okay, so now kalau kamu perasan kan, soalan ni tanya soalan yang benda yang sama saja. Dia akan tanya the velocity, dia akan tanya the vertical displacement, dia akan tanya the time of flight. Itu adalah typical soalan untuk this projectile motion lah. Okay, so benda ni berulang banyak kali benda yang sama. You just need to pay attention to the situation. Situation dia dekat mana sebenarnya? Apa initial point dia, apa final point dia. Okay, typical dia kita akan start daripada initial to final. Okay, itu adalah typical lah. Tapi boleh jadi dia akan tanya halfway. What is the time halfway to here? So kalau halfway tu sebenarnya by concept kamu tahulah sebenarnya T tu just divided by 2. Okay, so the whole journey takes 7.82 seconds. So if it's halfway to the final journey, so by concept kamu kena faham dia adalah bahagi 2 saja T tu. Okay, so this one, we have another few example actually, example 17 until 20, but we don't have time. This one, okay, I will try to do the video if I have time, ataupun kita akan buat Google Meet. Okay, I'll decide later lah. Adakah kita akan buat Google Meet next week ataupun misalkan buat video. Okay, sebab we left with a few example only. So basically minggu depan kita sudah boleh masuk chapter 3 actually. Okay, so sebelum tu ada soalan lagi? Before I finish today's class, ada sesiapa mau tanya soalan?
Tiada Miss.
Tiada, semua pandai lah ni sudah.
Tidak Miss.
Tidak. Amin, aku kasih amin je. Okay, nanti kamu cuba. Maybe you can try example 17 until 20 first. If you, kalau kamu boleh cubalah but I didn't provide the final answer actually. So kalau nanti kamu sudah cuba, nanti kamu tanyalah final answer dengan Miss. Okay, but I will also provide the video lah untuk this one, don't worry. Untuk yang tidak tahu. Okay, so untuk soalan yang Miss bagi sebelum ni, which is soalan 1 dan 2 kan, untuk tutorial 2. Yang that one kamu kena siapkan dan hantar esok. And then lab report hantar hari Ahad. Okay, untuk lab report, siapa tanya soalan tadi? Okay, lab report you don't need to do the front page. The front page tidak perlu untuk lab report, hanya untuk test sahaja nanti. Okay, so jangan lupa lab report hari Ahad and then esok soalan 1 dan 2 untuk tutorial question. Okay, so ingat, Miss mau ingatkan semula lah, minggu depan kita ada ujian diagnostik, which is hari Jumaat malam. So anyone yang tidak boleh join disebabkan masalah lain, okay, you need to inform me early, okay, about this. Sebab kita kena buat serentak benda ni. So if you inform me early, then I can adjust your time. Okay, so kalau tiada soalan sudah, semua okay kan?
Okay, Miss.
Okay.
Semua okay, then I'll see you next week lah. That's all for today's class. Okay, I will upload the recording later. Okay?
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Bye.
Miss.
Have a
Thank
nice
you,
day,
Miss.
Miss.
Have a
Thank
nice
you,
day.
Miss.
You too. Have a nice day and have a nice weekend.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, bye.